evening, everyone. So excited to be co-hosting another 30th PreacHERversary intimate conversation, honoring 30 years of preaching with Pastor Dana. Today, I'm super excited because we have a powerful conversation, one that I know is going to be good because we kind of leaned into it and had a little bit of a glitch before. So we're back again with all 5 of the kids, having a great conversation about transitioning, life, growth, changes with their mother. And so if you like the conversation, I'm sure you will. Make sure you like and share so other people have the opportunity to just get a little bit of the wisdom and the nuggets and the gems that are going to be shared today from both Pastor Dana's perspective as a mother and her children's perspectives as her children. So I want to give everyone an opportunity to introduce themselves. You can say what line, what role in line you are, where you fall at, and yeah. Who wants to go first?
Hi, everybody. I'm Deaisha, or D. I'm the oldest.
I'm Michaela. I'm the second oldest.
I'm Mike. I'm the third oldest.
I'm Blake. I'm the fourth in line.
I'm Brianna. I'm the youngest.
And you're Pastor Dana. You're their mom.
I'm mom. Yeah. So we kind of decided that we would kind of speak to the fact that we are celebrating and we are now into June, but we have did this already and we had a glitch. So and in that glitch, it was a great conversation with 3 of the 5, but we weren't able to use that footage. So we are now here again and have all 5, even though one is not present with us live, but he's here. Hey, Blake.
Great. Okay, so jumping right into the questions. So I've heard your mom. She's very open, very transparent. She's talked many times about her journey through life, parenting, marriage, struggles, etc. And one consistent theme is that you guys are always there with her and have been there with her for the past, however old you are, Deaisha, maybe 30, close to 30 years. So
real close.
Late 20-something years. Y'all been rocking and rolling with her through different seasons of her life. Can each of you kind of speak a little bit about what that transition has been like for you from the lens of her child or being her child?
I know, right?
Deaisha.
Why y'all always pick me?
You
Anyway, from my vantage point, I would say that it has been beautiful to watch. In the beginning, it was hard to watch, but the older I got, she began to change, transform with different life circumstances. And we were able to see the lights at the end of the tunnel. And I think it's only gonna progress and get even better than what it is now as well.
Oh, to kind of piggyback. My bad. Kind of piggyback off that. How the similar take. It's kind of beautiful to watch. Because it kind of got dark for a minute. Just seeing her go through like the divorce and just everything that come with that and ministry stuff and just watching her juggle all of that while still having to be a parent of 5 individuals who think differently, move differently, all have their own personalities. So yeah, I'm just not realizing how much that really is now that I'm coming of age myself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I would like to say I'm appreciative that she was so transparent. I feel like a lot of parents or just people and families in general try to hide and shell a lot of stuff that they go through and try to act like it's not happening. So I appreciate that she let us go through that with her because I feel like it caused all of us to mature in certain areas and it was for the greater good.
To piggyback on what Michaela said, yes, that was definitely good, especially like us all growing together, and witnessing some of the things she went through. We all went through that caused us to go through things ourselves, and so like even like from counseling to therapy and all that stuff, it was all for a greater purpose, a greater cause, and that's why we are where we are today because of her and her like will to get through whatever it was that she had to get through for us. And so that all made us stronger because now we this is what we see every day. So we didn't have no choice but to follow suit.
Well, from what Mike was saying, from what I can remember, it was really, really dark.
Yeah.
So seeing it now, I'm just really happy that she's much stronger and she went through what she went through and she still was able to push out my kids and do the best. So surprisingly, it really wasn't dark for me.
What do you call it?
I don't feel like it was dark for me. Probably because I had a dream at a really young age that my parents were getting divorced. And I told them. So when it happened, it was just like, so.
Well.
Yeah, I think it was definitely different for all of us though. We all took
It was. Yeah, I
all
like
took
care the less.
everything that happened. We all took it completely different ways. Like me, like y'all probably never know. Like my anger was so bad, and then my relationship with my mama. Like me and my mama has not always had the best relationship. Like we used to go at it, and like no, it's just we done came a long way. So everybody for sure took it different. It was hard for me though. Michaela, I guess she just. So she knew. She just.
I was the Libra advocate. Like if they were still texting, I'm like, "What are you doing? Like, leave.
What is this about?
What are y'all doing?
Why are you talking to him?"
I was so far out of a child's place.
Yeah,
I think it hit me automatically because I was in school fighting every day, throwing desks. It was really, really bad.
Yeah, it was bad. We got calls every day. But look at us now.
Like,
persevere.
On the other side of things, I love that y'all spoke to a little bit of how there just was a uniqueness, even in transition for each of you and with your relationship, specifically with your mom. Can you speak a little bit? Because I think one overarching theme, except for Michaela, is that it seemed like it was like a darker season, and then you got to the other side of being, on a brighter season or something more beautiful. Can you speak to even the transition? Because now you all are adults, you're all adult children opposed to being young children. Can you speak to the transition of your mom being just pouring into you or speaking into your life as your mom from a child perspective to like growing into more of the friend or adult space?
Well, I'll go. For me, yeah. We all have our own individual relationship with our mom in different ways, but like me and hers is like extra special. Extra special.
Excuse me.
I'm kind of the child that I go off and I can just be by myself. I can just go live life or whatever. I can just kind of just get caught up in whatever I'm doing and isolate myself. And like me and my mama, I can pick up the phone and just get to talking over my mom and just break everything down that's going on, that I'm going through mentally or spiritually, and she can just receive all of it. There's no type of judgment. It's never no, like, I feel like I'm talking to my best friend. Like I never felt like I couldn't open up to my mom. Okay. Like, I felt like that in my adolescent years a little bit for whatever reason, but now in my adult age, I'm realizing like now my mama is probably like the coolest person on the planet because she listen and she gonna give you some sound advice. Now, if you listen or not, that's up to you. We might not all listen, but she gonna give you some sound advice. She gonna tell you right, and it's just up to you to listen.
Wait, let everybody go, but I want to go into this because you brought it up, and there's 5 of y'all. Back later, it's gonna be like an hour later because you said you felt like you couldn't really open up to her more when you were younger, and I know this may help somebody that's possibly watching and have children, and that the adolescent years, there's certain little seasons that are just like traditionally hard for everyone. What is it that kind of broke y'all through to where now you feel like you can tell her anything? Like, what was it for you that kind of opened that door to say, like, dang, she really isn't judging me, or she really do have good advice, or whatever?
She was a pusher. What's the word of Mean Girls that they use? She was a pusher.
She was a
She was a pusher.
She is.
Like, I'm a loner, so I was always a child. Like, I stayed in my room. I kept my door closed. Eat my food. I'm going to my room. Leave me alone.
Yep.
She was a pusher. Like, it could not be nothing wrong with you, and she's going to ask you 10 times what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
So
I thought about that the other day.
she always is asking, like, are you okay? What's wrong with you? What's going on with you? Is there anything you know? So it's like we never really get a chance to like even let something get too far because she's always on it.
I think part of that is because my childhood was slightly different. My mom was not that pusher. She wasn't trying to get information. And so because there were certain things that I experienced as a child that I had to work my way through and then at some point kind of like explode or, you know, be able to voice what that was. I think I made a conscious decision early on that if something is happening, I want to know so I can try to help it. If I don't know, I can't, you know. So I would, are you okay? You good? Who your friend? Blah, blah, blah. What happened at school? So yeah, I did.
I think also for me personally, I didn't really know how to express certain things that I was feeling, just for so many different reasons. Just being a young Black male and going through different stages of my adolescence and stuff like that, losing virginities and all type of stuff that come with that. I just didn't know how to.
You lost your virginity.
No, anybody, like the stuff that go on in your adolescent years.
I got you.
I just didn't know how to.
Give it back.
I didn't know how to talk about this stuff. How to, like, I don't know. I just didn't know how to break it down with my mom, and so it took me just like realizing, and really more so over the past couple of years, like, okay, I kind of like went through some like major things in my life, and I didn't even really say anything. I just went through those things and just kept it moving. And so, yeah, talking to her now, like I realized, like, okay, I could have talked to her back then, maybe handled things a little differently, maybe went about it a different way. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think that
it was harder for the boys. I feel like emotionally, they had a lot of roller coasters, and I feel like just as you said, Black men in general, I feel like it's really hard when you are going through a lot. You're trying to translate how you feel, but still at the same time not do too much, so you're not technically being sensitive. So it took a lot of warm hugs, because she always tried to make us feel comfortable to express ourselves.
I think as I got older, the key for me, it's like being a pastor's kid or a preacher kid is so hard because when certain things, when you go through certain things, they want to shove the Bible down your throat, or like everything reverts back to the Bible, or like sometimes we just need a parent to be our parent, and that's why it's so easy for me to talk to my mom about anything, from like literally anything, from relationships to finances, like anything, because she knows how to be a mom, and I'm not talking to Pastor Barry or Pastor Dana or Minister Elder Dana. I'm not talking to her. I'm talking to mom. And so knowing that I'm talking to mom and she has the best interest for me, yeah, we gonna pray and all that, but she gonna talk to me without being judgmental or without shoving the Bible down my throat.
Yes, we gonna get both. We gonna both sides.
Yeah.
She can talk to you and she gonna pray for you. She gonna intercede for you.
Absolutely.
So for me, at one point in my life, I was actually scared of my mom. But I'm not scared of her no more. Like, there is obviously, like, I fear God and I reference him. It's the same for my mom, but I'm not scared of her. Like, oh my God, if I tell my mama that I did X, Y, and Z, she about to beat my butt. It's not like that. But I think her transparency, especially with the things that I was doing when I was in high school, when my parents divorced, I really didn't express myself at first. Like, I cried about it, was sad in front of everybody, but I tried to be the strong one because I always was like their second mom. So I didn't fully get a chance to just be a kid.
Mm.
And it was almost like I didn't fully process the separation and divorce until I got probably good and grown too. But I remember one time I told my mama I came home, I had did something real bad. Well, not real bad. The person actually deserved it. What I had did.
Oh, I know about this.
But I told her I came in the house. First of all, y'all, I left. I was like, I'll be right back. I gotta go take care of something. That should have been a red flag. But I came back in the house and I was like, I need to talk to my mama, not my pastor, because I am real pissed right now.
She did. I remember that.
Yeah. And she gave me real life woman to woman advice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why she's my friend right now and my mom.
That's good. Does anyone else want to speak to that transition of like your mom being more of a friend to you in your adulthood, or the transition of the relationship in the adulthood? Anyone else have any last remarks?
I feel like it really started when I went away to college. Mama talked every day. Before I left, I was in my room all the time, isolated. Came down to make some food, went straight up to my stairs to my room. And then when they was gone, I was down here. And then when they came back, I was back in my room. But it really started when I got away to college. I was talking to my mom every day, and I was telling her a lot that I probably wouldn't have told her when I was here. So I feel like it was better when I went away, because I let out a lot.
That's what it was for me too.
Yeah, I definitely feel like me and my mom. Where are you? You a Pisces, I'm a Cancer. Mm-hmm. Baby. We got super, super close when I went away to school. Like, and I only went to Eastern. I was only in Ypsilanti, and I mean, like, we got super close. That's cool. I'm on my way. We just sitting up in my tiny bed in my dorm, clothes, all these hits, just talking, chopping it up for hours, just because I missed you. But me personally, I feel like my transition was a little different, because probably seeing her divorce, I just don't tolerate a lot of stuff. I keep my relationship super private. I feel like if it's not really stupid to bring anything up, but me being so close off and so sheltered is probably the reason why I have 2 kids, because I wasn't telling her certain stuff and I wasn't going to her for certain stuff I needed to talk to her about. So now that I'm older and I'm grown and I have made certain mistakes, it's like, okay, now it's like I'd rather tell you ahead of time about something that I'm thinking or something I'm expressing. Of course, I'm not about to make some of the same mistakes again, but just on common sense. Yeah. But I do definitely feel like I talk to her more about guys in general, because I need to. I should. I like hearing it. Not like that. Not like that.
No, absolutely. And I want to go back to one thing and ask a question. And we didn't hit this question last time, but Blake brought it up. And I feel like, whoa, I was like, dang, we completely just skimmed over this. Does anyone want to speak to, you brought up being a preacher's kid, being a PK. Does anyone want to speak to that experience at all? And not everybody doing the small eyes with the handshake. Does anyone want to experience?
I can talk about it, and I'm sure they'll chime in. When I was a kid, there was nothing for preacher's kids at all. And like the people I thought I could go to, my parents ended up not even being friends with them people no more. Like the actual parents of the children I was trying to befriend. So it was nobody, it was no network, no nothing. And just being a preacher's kid, as a whole, it's a lot of stereotypes out there. They want you to be what your parents are. And yeah, that's just, that in itself can be a lot. That's one of the main things that I dealt with, outside of the fact that I did a lot of things being a kid that I got talked about because I was being a kid, but I also am a preacher's kid, but I'm also human. So on the flip side, like, you can't expect me to be perfect and not make mistakes, because we're all human and make mistakes. We're all going to go through things. And the mistakes that we make help to shape and form us. Everything that I went through, all the stuff that I did, even the stuff that I do now, it just make me a better person for the next day and the day after that. Mm-hmm. So like, we have to take that into account. And I don't think people realize that. And they also don't realize their words have power. Because a lot of people speak negative over you, or they say certain things to you, like, you're just like your dad, or you're just like your mom. But what if you don't want to be just like them? Not because of who they are spiritually, but the person you actually know them to be, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And I love my mama, but I don't want to be Dana. I want to be Deasia. So we just got to be careful with how we treat people, and how we expect them to be as well.
Yeah, for me, I'm kind of like Michaela. I'm so far removed from like you were a preacher's kid, or like that's, I don't know, just the whole everything that come with it. I kind of just got so far removed from it, because it's just, to piggyback off of what Deasia said, all the stigmas and the pressures that come with that. And I'm a junior too, so it's like people like, oh, so you're gonna be like your dad? Like, okay, you might marry Junior, like you're gonna be like your dad. And I have my own interests, my own outlook on the world, and how I want to go about living my life and stuff. And so it can be kind of difficult being boxed in. And so it took me these past couple of years just kind of getting away from that and peeling back the layers of who I am as a person.
I don't use the term pastor's kid, not like it's something bad about it, but we are only pastor's kids. We come from a whole family of pastors and preachers and ministers. So whenever someone would find out that my parents were pastors and be like, oh, you're a preacher's kid, I'm like, no, that's just their occupation. Like, I never looked at it as anything more or less than what it was. Like, that's just their assignment on their life. That's just what my parents do, and they do other things as well. Like, no, I'm just their kid. I'm just their child.
Yeah. Like, say something, and it might go over some people's head, but I had this thought a couple weeks ago, and then I had it again today. If we want to be technically all of us are preachers' kids. Technically,
that's what she was about to say.
If we want to be technical,
say that. Why you say that?
Because of who our father is, who our true father is. But that's going far on the deep end for some of y'all.
I want to say, as being a pastor and having children, the bottom line to me is, at one point in my life, I felt like, if you do this, you do that, you're gonna embarrass me. You're gonna embarrass the name. Mm-hmm. That was what was instilled in me. But as I've gotten older and realized, first of all, that's too much pressure on a child. Why does a child need that much pressure? And then secondly, again, as Deasia alluded to earlier, we are going to have our own life, our own path, our own destiny. So even if you look at people, biblical characters, they went through stuff happened. I mean, we preach about David. He one of the most famous people that we preach about. And look at his life and the things that transpired with him. Yet the Bible still acknowledges him as a man after God's own heart. So just let people live their life. Stuff gonna happen. You pray for them. You keep them encouraged. You try to do the best you can as a parent to give them that wisdom, but you cannot police people's lives. You only can help navigate your children.
Now, Pastor Dana, I'm follow. Oh, go ahead, Blake.
I was going to speak from a different perspective, but they more so spoke towards like what others would think. Like, just me being completely honest, I like absolutely never cared what anybody else thought about me being a PK or pastor. Do this because you're a pastor. I never cared. Now, obviously, if you have parents, you gonna care about what your parents think about you. Like, you want to make it happy. Now, one thing I can say about my mom is that made it easy to be a preacher kid, pastor kid, because she accepts the fact that, one, all my kids are different. Two, just because one child is doing this, that don't mean the other one. Yes, you're singing, and yes, I play the drums at church. That don't mean Michaela has to go. Maybe Michaela just want to sit. Maybe she just maybe Mike just want to sit, and there's nothing wrong with that. And my mom, she's always understood that, like, all my kids are different. And so but as far as other people though, I don't care what y'all think. And I still to this day
Yeah, the whole expression is getting a bit tired. I think I care too much. Okay. And I say that because my mom being a preacher, that's like the last thing I tell people. It's either I let them find out on their own, or it just comes up out of the blue. But I think I care too much.
So the question I was going to ask Pastor Dana, and just for other people who maybe are in some type of leadership role in ministry, did you know, or do you, how did you navigate knowing that this is a stigma or these are stigmas, the things that we all know that come with that may fall on my kids? Or did you know or have moments where you thought like, okay, like, being in church, I'm sure they all can say examples of somebody said something to them, somebody said something shady, did something, whatever. In all of that, whether they were right, wrong, or whatever, like, how do you as a parent kind of now deal with that? Do you say something to your kid? Do you just let it roll? Is that just it?
It depends on what it is. Because as they say, I'm a mama bear, and I don't play about my kids, and I don't play about the people closest to me. So if it was you, as I call my niece, it doesn't matter to me. If depending on who it is and what it is that they said, I'm going to address it. Then there are times when I feel like some people are just ignorant. Right. So knowing your character and knowing who you are, I'm not even going to bother it because it doesn't matter. And I'm going to empower my child and tear down whatever the negativity is that was, brought to them or spoken over them or whatever. But yes, there have been times, and I'm sure there will be other times that I will speak to somebody about how they treated my child or what they said to my child. And, you hear people say stuff like, well, because something happened with Deasia and the person said, well, she's an adult. I said, please don't get it twisted. She's always my child.
Period.
So let's not deal with age. Let's just deal with the ignorance of how you just treated my child. And if you had not done that, then I would not even have had to call you. So I'm a mama bear. I love my kids, and I will address issues.
And I'm a lot like her, but she does take the high road on certain conversations. Me, not so much, because I feel like common sense isn't so common. I feel like a lot of people make certain statements or judgment out of just pure ignorance. Like, and what you just don't have certain enlightenment on certain areas. So you may need to be cut into because you may need to be enlightened. You may need to learn something that you have no knowledge of. So you're just speaking ignorantly. So some people can take the high road. I prefer to be a teacher.
Listen, I say all the time, y'all pastors, not me. So you shouldn't even told me. I shouldn't have even known about it. I shouldn't have been around there because y'all the pastors. I don't have to take the high road. I ain't got to account to that. Okay, so obviously, as we see, everyone, please do not forget to share. Don't forget to like. Definitely, because I'm sure there are people who have children. There are people who are in ministry with children. There are people who have multiple children. Just navigating being a parent and navigating life and transitions from the child's perspective is such an important conversation, and we want to make sure that as many people can listen and hear and be a part of it as possible. Pastor Dana, as we've seen, all of your children have different needs, different personalities, different viewpoints, different perspectives, all of that. Can you share how you navigate like the evolution of parenting and then the different needs as they mature at different ages and stages of life? Like, how do you balance that?
I think I was able to and am able to navigate. It took me a minute to kind of figure it out and how to deal with them individually. But I am a people watcher. Like, we can go sit down at the park, we can go sit down at the restaurant, and I just watch people, watch their personalities, watch the difference, how they respond to different things that happen at the table. How you respond to the waitress, or how you respond to certain things. So I watched that. So then it helped me to then navigate and say, okay, all of these are 5 individual people, and I have to treat them like they're 5 individual people. That is why my relationship with all 5 of them is different, because I've learned their temperament. I've learned certain things about each one of them. And so because the grandchildren, because I've learned those things and I'm learning how to help navigate. Mike and I talked on the phone one day last week for 2 hours, just chopping it up. We needed that. That's our time. That's, I'm getting to know my son, as he said earlier. I'm getting to know different things about him. Same thing with all of them. We have our time individually, which then makes it that much sweeter when we all can get in one space and actually talk, celebrate somebody's birthday, whatever the case may be. So I think you have to hone in on that, and you have to accept the fact that each one of your children are different. That's the beauty of creation, that none of us are the same. We all are different. And so, of course, with them growing up and being different, that was a little challenging sometimes, but we got over it. Michaela liked certain food, Deisha didn't like, and vice versa. So you sitting at the table and you figuring out who's snatching up whose food or who's sliding stuff, but I came up whereby my mom said, y'all can pretty much eat and do whatever you want, make it happen. And then you have somebody else, their dad was, you eat what's on the table. So you have to make those adjustments. And I think that it makes it that much easier.
We definitely came from a household whereby if we wanted to have 5 boxes of cereal open, there were 5 boxes of cereal open.
That's my mom.
Because just because Brianna wants Cheerios doesn't mean I don't want Crunch Berries.
No more Crunch Berries.
It was a mighty change when the separation.
Blake, you laughing? What about it?
No, it was a lot of changes for real. I feel like you're the parent that's more like, I wouldn't say free will. Like, you strict. You were strict. So I would never forget you not letting me play that game. But yeah, you had your ways. But no, I'm just laughing. I agree. That's all. Disagreeing.
Yeah, she let us do what we wanted, but not do what we wanted. That's why I was scared of her at one point.
I actually like the dynamic of when he was there, but that's because I need more structure.
I did.
So I needed that. I needed the hammer. Yeah, I needed like a household to be ran a certain type of way because I needed that.
Not me. Sure.
I did. I need somebody to tell me to get up. You've been sleeping in the bed too long. Go do this. Go do that.
I would say that to you, but I did become a little bit lighter. Different. Understood.
It had was a lot.
You breaking up
and things of that nature, but versus when he wasn't. So it was pros and cons.
I don't know what he said.
It was pros.
Pros and cons.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Okay, so we have one question left. And this is one for everyone to answer in whatever order that you want. How do you see your mom now that she has evolved into the woman that she is today? And that can be as small or as wide as you want to make that scope. But how do you see her now?
I feel like it's pretty normal when you kind of, I hate to say it, but you expect someone to end up being in a certain predicament because you hold them to a higher standard and you know what they deserve and you know that they're doing certain things to have their life aligned a certain type of way. So when certain things happen for her, it's just like, like that's good because you're owed that. Honestly, like I feel like you deserve it.
Yeah, same here. I feel like she's reaping what she has sowed. And it's showing me to just keep living right and just keep doing what the things that God have called me to do, and I'll be fine. Anything that detours you off that, I've seen the dark times, and I know, I feel like I have an understanding, and she has said to me why she went down those roads, and now that she is where she is now, I'm saying I know that I don't have to make those same mistakes that she made.
Absolutely.
She said, "Ollie, I got an answer."
Well, for me, for a while, I didn't see like a come up. I just seen. I guess it was because all of the bad stuff that I seen that I didn't see a come up, but now because I have matured and I've seen a lot, it also it also has me like appreciative of everything that she has went through because I've seen a lot of growth and I've seen a lot of strength, and she's just grown a lot. So it teach, stop. You have done a lot as a parent. Like I try to tell Brianna, she has it made. Because I wasn't 18 working on my credit. I wasn't 18 going out of the state every other month, every couple of weeks. I'm going state to state.
With me?
Yes. In July. I'll be there.
Me too.
Y'all talking about two different trips.
Hey, hold on.
I gotta say one more thing.
Yes,
the evolution of seeing her be a single Black mother and the struggles that come with that, having to take care of 5 kids and the struggles that come with that, and seeing her now total 180.
Yes.
180.
Yeah, she definitely do a 360. I definitely take a lot of notes out of her book. I feel like one of the biggest ones is I feel like sometimes as a parent you feel like you're not owed certain things and you don't allow yourself to take certain breaks. And having her as my parent and seeing what she went through, it kind of helps to know how I am a parent, because if my kids are driving me a little crazy, if I want to go to McDonald's and get a Big Mac and sit in my car for an hour,
I did it.
I'm owed that.
Yes.
And that is okay.
Yes.
I'm owed that.
Yes.
You'll be in the house, look out the window, you outside.
Where she go? She outside.
I'm here. You see me, I see you. Let me have my moment. And outside. I'm just having a moment. There's nothing wrong.
Yeah, but I agree with what everyone said. And the thing that I want to celebrate is that she actually made it out and is doing better, like way better. Because a lot of people don't overcome depression, don't get over that divorce. They don't properly raise their kids because of what they're going through, and they can't get themselves together at all. She did all of that. And all of her accomplishments, she got multiple her CDs, journals, she coming out with books. Like, she's literally doing what she's telling us to do and be great. She's being great herself.
Absolutely. Okay, so are there? I'm sorry.
It's on Blake.
Blake,
Can you repeat the question, please?
the question is, how do you see your mom now that she has evolved?
How do I see her?
Yes.
Beautiful, strong Black woman.
Beautiful.
But no, for real though, I think over the years, she's definitely like grew a lot. But I think that right now, as we speaking, one of the biggest things was her getting married. Because I don't care what nobody say. It is no glow that you can get like that love will give you. I think love is like super, like that's what everybody wants love. Everybody, it's certain things you just can't do alone. Like you need that partner. And I think I'm glad she got married. I'm glad she happily married. And I think now that she's married and she has a partner that has her back, it allows her to flourish even more. So, and I think that's what part of what Diesha said, how some people don't get through the divorce and some people don't get over depression. And some people don't end up better than what they were. I think she's like significantly better than like from when we were younger to some of our teenage years and whatnot to where I am now to my 22-year-old eyes. I see like the biggest version of my mom like I've ever seen before. And that's in every way. That's in every way, from like literally every way. So yeah.
Oh, thanks, Blake.
Absolutely. I love that. Is there anything else that hasn't been asked or anything that you want to say regarding your mom, this 30-year PreacHERversary, honoring her, celebrating her transition, her evolution, her life that has not already been said?
I can't say.
I was going to say congratulations.
Thank you.
And I love you. I know you're going to keep doing what you're doing. You're going to keep on getting bigger and better.
Climbing on pews and slapping people with towels, running down the aisles,
Stepping on people's backs.
Energy. I already know it.
Purging.
And you hear her purging people. Brianna said, when the last time you climbed pews and said edible shot? Hilarious.
I used to be watching her like.
I want to say before we go, if the kids are done, is that something that was brought up in the original pre-recording, and that was the part I got emotional about. But I want to say it is amazing to have poured so much into your children, and now they pour things back into me. The evolving of us as a unit, as a squad, as these being the people who went through hell with me, and now we're on the other side of that, to have their support, to have me being the one that prayed for them. They pray for me, they encourage me, they, Blake, I called Blake about something. He said the next day, he said, I prayed about that for you this morning. Like, that speaks volumes to who I have, by the grace of God, molded these individuals to be, is that they are my biggest cheerleaders. And I think that when you go through life and you begin to look back at your children and look at what you put in them and the things that you put in them, and they're not perfect. So I'm not perfect, but to know that these are the humans that God gave me, I'm so grateful for the 5 that I call the grace factor, because truly, if it wasn't for the grace of God using them in those moments, I don't think I would be who I am today. It took them helping to push me to finish my degree, helping to push me to say you can still preach, helping to push me to say you can still do and be everything that God has called you to be. So I think that when you put in that proper perspective, that they have now given back to me what I poured into them. And I know that it will be more and it'll be greater as God continues to bless them.
Absolutely. I love that. Well, thank you all for joining us, taking time out of your schedule to all coordinate, all 30 of y'all, and to speak and to share. Congratulations again, Pastor Dana. We celebrate all year, y'all, because 30 years, we can't just do 1 month. We're gonna have to take this through the end of the year or something. The celebration keeps going because you deserve it. You are definitely just the GOAT of our time. Not just preaching wise, but just woman wise, ministry, parenting. So much is coming out in these conversations. I'm honored. I thank you, like I always do, so much for letting me come in and host and just be a part of the conversation. So if you like what you heard, make sure you guys make sure you share. This was so amazing. Everyone have a good night.
Good night, everybody.